Mr. President.
The senator from Massachusetts.
Mr. President, on July 1st, the interest rate on new federally subsidized student loans is set to double from 3.4 to 6.8%. That means unless Congress acts, for millions of young people, the cost of borrowing money to go to college will double. The student debt problem in this country is a quiet but growing problem. Today's graduates carry more than $1 trillion in debt, more than all the outstanding credit card debt in the whole country. Doubling interest rates on new student loans will just increase pressure on our young people. Now, keep in mind, these young people didn't go to the mall and run up charges on a credit card. They worked hard, they stayed in class, they learned new skills, and they borrowed what they needed to pay for an education. Their education will improve their opportunities in life, but their education won't just help those students. When they acquire more skills, these students will help us build a strong and competitive economy. They will strengthen our middle class. Student interest rates are set to double in less than 2 months, but so far Congress has done nothing to address this problem. Now, some people say we can't afford to help our kids through school by keeping student interest rates low. But right now, as I speak, the federal government offers far lower interest rates on loans every single day. They just don't do it for everyone. Right now, a big bank can get a loan through the Federal Reserve discount window at a rate of about 0.75%. But this summer, a student who's trying to get a loan to go to college will pay almost 7%. In other words, the federal government is going to charge interest rates 9 times higher than the rates they charge the biggest banks, the same banks that destroyed millions of jobs and nearly broke the economy. That isn't right. And that's why I'm introducing legislation today to give students the same deal we give to the big banks. The Bank on Students Loan Fairness Act would allow students who are eligible for federally subsidized Stafford loans to borrow at the same rate that the big banks get through the Federal Reserve discount window. For 1 year, the Federal Reserve would make funds available to the Department of Education to make loans to students at the same low rates offered to the big banks. This will give students relief from high interest rates while giving Congress a chance to find a long-term solution. Now, some may say, we can't afford this proposal. I would remind them that the federal government currently makes 36 cents in profit for every dollar that it lends to students. Add up those profits and you'll find that next year, student loans will bring in $34 billion. Meanwhile, the banks pay interest that is 1/9 the amount that students will be asked to pay. That's just wrong. It doesn't reflect our values. We shouldn't be profiting from our students who are drowning in debt while we're giving a great deal to the big banks. We should be investing in our young people so they can get good jobs and grow the economy. So let's give them the same great deal that the banks get. Now, some explain that the banks get exceptionally low interest rates because the economy is still shaky and banks need access to cheap credit to continue the recovery. But our students are just as important to the economic recovery as our banks, and the debt they carry poses a serious risk to that recovery. In fact, in March of this year, the Federal Reserve said that because of the economic impact on family budgets, high levels of student debt pose a risk to our shaky economic recovery. If the Federal Reserve can float trillions of dollars to to large financial institutions at low interest rates to grow the economy, surely they can float the Department of Education the money to fund our students, keep us competitive, and help grow our middle class. Let's face it, banks get a great deal when they borrow money from the Fed. In effect, the American taxpayer is investing in those banks. We should make the same kind of investment in our young people who are trying to get an education. Lend them the money, make them pay it back, but give our kids a break on the interest they pay. Let's bank on students. The Bank on Students Loan Fairness Act is my first standalone bill in the United States Senate. I'm introducing this bill because our students are facing a crisis. We cannot stand by and simply watch. This is about our students, our economy, and our values. The Bank on Students Loan Fairness Act is a first step toward helping young people who are drowning in debt. Unlike the big banks, students don't have armies of lobbyists and lawyers. They have only their voices, and they call on us to do what is right. Thank you.